Hello everyone and welcome back to another Destiny 2 video. Today Joe, Blackburn, and Bungie decided to give us a gift. And I'm gonna prefix this, I might sound a little sarcastic towards the end, but I want to have a serious portion right here with everyone. This type of communication is exactly what we want. It's not completely unfiltered. I'm sure there's things that Joe couldn't talk about to us for obvious reasons because, well, they're coming out in the reveal next week, and, there's a reason for that. But a lot of this is really good. Now, I mentioned I will mention there's one thing he didn't talk about in this kind of, I guess, face-to-face, one-on-one with the community, and it's Gambit. But I think Gambit can be forgiven because there's a lot of PvP stuff in this, and listen, it's good. Like, it's really good that they're talking about PvP on this level. So I just wanted to say this communication is good, even though it might not be everything we want. It's a step in the right direction, because if we get more things like this, which seems like we will be, then that's great. It's great for the overall health of the community. So yeah, let's get into the notes that I have for this whole video. I will leave the link in the description for the full video. I highly suggest, if you are a Destiny 2 player, that you go and watch this for yourself, but I'm going to go over most of the important things that were mentioned by Blackburn in this video. So the largest thing that he focuses on throughout the video is PvP. He does mention a few things that will be coming in the Final Shape showcase, which again will be a week from the time this video is being uploaded. Not the exact time, but a week from Tuesday, which is today. So that's Tuesday, August 22nd, if you're in the United States. I'm not sure the exact time, although I would assume it's noon or 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, somewhere around there. I think maybe it's 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. I don't know what that is for the rest of you people, because I am not good with time zones. So yeah. But one of the things that was mentioned for the Final Shape reveal, this is what caught my attention. This is something I've complained about, which is reworking buffs that are on your screen while you're in the game. In the bottom left hand corner you have like your armor charge, you have like rampage, like all the buffs that you have going, and you can't see them all because I think there's a limit on how many are there. Blackburn mentioned that they're going to change that potentially soon, maybe in the Final Shape. That's going to be a quality of life thing, so that's cool. But let's get into PvP. Right now the focus for Bungie, and you can kind of tell, has been the sandbox, and that it is important. But yeah, they were focused recently with getting Strand in line with the rest of the sandbox, because Strand is a new super. Maybe they weren't entirely sure how it would work out with the meta, and they took some time to do that. And yeah, Blackburn confirmed that Bungie will continue to do 2 weapon balance updates per season, once at the beginning of the season and once halfway through the season, which is nice because having that weapon balancing is what keeps the meta fresh. It's what keeps certain things that are abusive out of people's loadouts, which is great to see. So Joe goes on to acknowledge that the one new map and a reprise of an older map each year isn't getting the results that Bungie is desiring. They are trying to build essentially one map that's good at everything, right? Long range encounters, close quarters, symmetry, and ultimately, because they want one map that does it all, they're making one map that does nothing at all, or everything and nothing at the same time, right? So there will be next year a single map pack, supposedly, that will have variety, and this map pack will be free for all players. So hopefully that remains true. You won't need to buy any separate things for it. You can just play the game, which is great, which is really good. I think if Crucible remains like a free-to-play thing, people might be more enticed to go after it, but of course cheaters have to be dealt with. Anyways, next note here is that, Bungie acknowledges that maybe the foundation isn't great, and game modes are a huge part of that foundation. With Season 22, we'll be getting 2 new game modes, one of which will be Checkmate, which is supposedly going to do a lot with primary fights and that real gunplay feel. And it's a marksman type game. It kind of sounds like it might be a SWAT-esque game, if you ever played SWAT in Halo, or Headhunter, I think is what it was called in Call of Duty, where precision hits, just one-hit kill. I don't know the specifics of this game mode, but just from the premise of it, it sounds like it could be really fun. We'll also be getting Relic, which is, again, more of a party mode, but per Blackburn, it's going to mesh your guns and abilities and the relics, as they are known, like the Aegis shield from Vault of Glass. It's going to mesh all those things into nice one core playlist, I guess, soup, you know what I mean? Hopefully it tastes good. I don't know, relic soup doesn't sound enticing, but we'll see. I'm not too optimistic about how this game mode will play, but you never know. It could pleasantly surprise you. They being Bungie, know that we need more modes. Something that held Bungie back was that there were bugs preventing some of the Crucible Labs game modes that they wanted to implement into the regular core playlist of Crucible. So they are essentially saying, screw the bugs, we're going to try our best to put these game modes into the playlist. Because let's be honest, there are really only a few core playlist activities that people play anymore. It's Control, Rift, and Clash. I mean, there's not really a whole lot of variation. If you go into comp, you get you get a few variations like Elimination, Skirmish, so on and so forth. But again, there just isn't too much. There isn't enough variety. At least I think so. But part of that other reason is that Crucible is just not as rewarding as it used to be, which is something we'll get to in a second here. But yeah, no, it's good to have more variety. Crucible Labs is a great way to implement things into the community, and the fact that we've seen a lot of game modes go through there, but none of them really implemented beyond that, is sad, So it's good to see that they're paying attention to that. So let's go on to comp, the next point in which Blackburn brings up here. He talks about how points aren't really that predictable, and it's based too much on how many your personal matchmaking rank and your opponents, and the focus going forward for Bungie is going to be winning or losing. That's going to matter the most, which in most comp things that is how it works. Not all comp game modes have that. Sometimes it is more focused on personal statistics. We'll see if that works in the future, and it could help improve that playlist. Also, Countdown Rush will be coming into comp, and Rift will be cycled out, which is something that they should have done a while ago. I think cycling game modes in and out of comp will keep things fresh, and people won't get bored of doing the same 3 or 2 game modes in comp every season. So this is probably the most important thing that Blackburn talked about. There will be a new PvP strike team, which is something that Bungie has put together in the past. Essentially what this team will do is they're almost like EMTs for Crucible. They're coming to keep Crucible alive. They're going to try and identify how they can make Crucible more rewarding, which is the largest issue that Crucible has. You go and you play a Grandmaster, or even strikes in general, you're going to get rewarded pretty heavily. Whereas if you go and you play Crucible matches, you get an exotic engram and some Crucible weapons. Yippee, I guess. Comp, you do get Mercurial Overreach, which is a new weapon. You can get that sick emblem, which is a nice thing. But beyond that, there's really no point in doing competitive. So, yeah, this team is definitely necessary to try and help find a way to make Crucible more enticing to everyone. The results that this team comes up with, basically what they think they should do, will be communicated immediately into the community, which is great because we can criticize it, we can give our feedback immediately, and then shortly after, if everything goes well with all this information, these changes will be implemented, which is great. Great. These teams will build their goals and their agenda based on community needs and pain points. So anything and everything that we're having an issue with will be part of the goal set or the overall objective for the strike team. They're there to please us, essentially. I don't know how else to say it. Or at least try their best to do what they can to make Crucible better. That's the best way to put it. So that's it for PvP. Next, Blackburn's going to talk about armor, which I didn't realize how important armor is to Destiny, but it is pretty important, right? So there are 3 different sets, I guess 4 total, of armor. There are the visual / aspirational armor sets that are like your raid, dungeon armors. They're meant to be flashy so people show them off, and you're proud of it. You earn this armor through hard work, right? You should get to show it off. I personally like the armor from Ghost of the Deep. So beautiful. It's great to show it off. And they really did a great job with that armor set. If you buy the dungeon, it's free. So technically, yeah, it's not free. But still, you didn't have to pay $15 for it in the Eververse store. So that's a win. So the silver armor is supposed to be like 4th wall breaking. And the hope for that armor is that it's worth your money. Right? You have like the Kratos armor, the Horizon Zero Dawn armor, the Ghost of Tsushima armor. All that stuff is supposed to be like, oh, it's from a different universe, you know, like, oh, this is cool. Which, by the way, I would love more collaborations like that. I think it's really cool to do that, like a Naruto collaboration. Bungie loves their Dragon Ball Z. There's so many Dragon Ball emotes in Destiny, so a Dragon Ball armor set, like a Saiyan armor set, would be sick. A lot of people would spend that money, including most likely myself. But yeah, it's supposed to be worth your money, and most of the time it is worth your money if that's where you want to spend it. And then we have narrative armor, which is like your seasonal armor, post-campaign armor, that drive home the time and place of where you got that armor. So you can be like, oh my goodness, I was here when we were deep diving in Season of the Deep and on Titan. And, you know, it is cool to have. I think, although, you know, this is something that Bungie has worked on, being able to go back and acquire past armor sets. This is a criticism I will add into this, so excuse me for adding this. But you should be able to buy and or acquire past seasons battle passes, because some people would actually pay good money to unlock past seasons stuff. This is a feature that games like, I think Fortnite might have this. I definitely know Halo Infinite has this ability where you can switch the battle pass or season pass that you're working on. So if you played, let's say, in Season of Defiance, but you didn't finish your season pass, and you start playing again in Season of the Deep, you could switch your battle pass to Season of Defiance and essentially complete that battle pass. Then next season, say, you know, during Season of the Deep, like, you say you started Defiance battle pass, you completed it, you're halfway through Season of the Deep, and then you switch to the Season of the Deep battle pass, and you can complete that as well. That is something that I hope Bungie adds in the future, because it adds to that FOMO, right? If people wanted an armor set but they didn't play the game before, or they were taking a break when that armor set was out, again, FOMO is there. But I will say, for the most part, right, that FOMO is gone, because you can still go back and do that seasonal stuff, you just can't get the battle pass rewards, which is like, whatever. So yeah, that's what the narrative armor is your battle pass armor, your post-game or post-campaign armor as well. The next class of armor is your ritual/blue armor. It's essentially Joxer armor. If you don't know who Joxer is, he's the guardian who attempted to go into the portal that was on the Traveler, and well, he got rolled. Let's just say that. And you know, ritual and blue armor is your everyday, run-of-the-mill guardian armor. That's what it is. So the reason why Bungie is only going down to one ritual set of armor each season is because they want to focus more time on armor that people care about. This is a admirable goal. So that armor, again, is like your raid armor, it's the narrative armor that people will invest time for. And I will say that I love the seasonal armor for Season of the Defiance. I think it was good. It wasn't the best, but it was okay, right? I like the Ghost of the Deep armor set. I like all these armor sets. So I don't think there's a problem with it. Some people might, because the ritual armor set is free, right? They do understand they failed to tell us about this goal. They failed to say like, hey, we're gonna just do one ritual set. We're sorry about that. So we're gonna be focusing more on other armor pieces, not necessarily Eververse, but everything in between, right? So to acknowledge that failure and to make up for it, Bungie will be giving us a free armor set. They're taking a set out of Eververse and giving it to us for free. This is a huge W, and should be something they do more often, because Eververse armor is just really cool, and there should be ways to acquire it aside from actually buying it, i.e. Bright Dust. You know, another way would be to just play the game. Say, you know, you wanted to get an armor set from Tess. Have a bounty so that you can acquire silver, right? That way you're still taking player investment and using it for something valuable. This is just another criticism and an opinion, nothing huge. Kind of the end thoughts from Blackburn here. And the last little notes that I have. Bungie wants to focus more on making really, really, really good content for us. Admirable goal. However, they know that communication is key. They know it's important. Bungie will talk to us more. However, again, the personal safety is the most important thing for Bungie employees. So if that communication does come at the risk of employees' safety, they might not do it as often, right? That's the number one priority, and it should be. This is a very important thing, and I will always be an advocate for respectful and kind, constructive criticism, because you can be as mad as you want, you can be as disappointed as you want, but idle threats and literal, like, it's not worth anyone's time. You can leave and go play a different game that you get more joy out of, or you can stick around, keep your mouth like respectable, like don't say stuff you shouldn't, or you can do what I'm doing. You can talk about how you feel about the game and try to do it in the most respectful and understanding way possible. Of course, you can get passionate, you can get a little heated, you can do all that stuff, but again, threats and stuff to people who are just trying to make a game that is fun for people to play, that's just not necessary at all. So most of this communication will take place on Twitter and Reddit, So if you're someone who wants to be aware of that communication, then that's where you should go to listen to that. So Bungie employees, if you're watching this, stay safe. You know, whatever you need to do to live your life and to have peace. At the end of the day, this is just a small part of anyone's life who's playing the game. Maybe not content creators, but you know, a lot of us who maybe criticize like that, this game doesn't matter that much if you're doing that, to be honest. I could be wrong. But you are risking like getting banned from playing the game if you do make threats like that, and you should be. Yeah, this is great again. Joe will also be moving forward. He will be doing more live streams with him playing the game. You can go into those live streams, ask him questions. He may or may not be playing with content creators to kind of do like Q&As with them maybe, or something along those lines, or you know, just vibing with other content creators and just learning from the community, and hopefully we can do a little bit of vice versa, because you know, there is a disconnect, I think, between the community and the developers right now, and it's important to try and bridge that gap. If we can do that, the communication will become easier and it will become better, and this is so important for the health of a game. So important. I cannot stress how important it is. The ability to have summits like Bungie has had in the past with content creators is something that improves the health of the game, the community, and it's huge. And hopefully this is the first step towards being able to do things like that in the future. Anyways, that's it for the notes I have here. Again, I will just reiterate how good this communication is. I hope we see the actions that are lined out in this, you know, hopefully they take place. You know, the free map pack that's supposed to come next year, hopefully that happens. More game modes in Crucible. The PvP strike team working out the kinks and figuring out how to reward Crucible players. Free armor sets and a focus on armor sets that matter more to people, and hopefully not so much Eververse. Of course, though, they should put a little bit of time in there, because if you're gonna ask people to pay for armor, it should at least be very good armor, right? And of course, communication, and hopefully a healthy form of communication where nobody feels like they can't communicate in the first place. As always, this is a safe place to communicate as long as you are respectful. If you're not respectful, your comments will be removed and you will not be welcome here. So again, please be respectful. And if you liked the video, giving me a thumbs up down below lets me know that you guys enjoy this type of content. I want to take a second again to thank everyone who has given their support recently. Just viewing these videos and sparking the discussion is something that I've always enjoyed doing with Destiny, even if it's just with friends. The ability to share it with people throughout the community is something that I don't take for granted. So again, thank you very much. And I will see you guys in the next one.